welcome to another Magical Moon video. With the rain slashing and the wind blowing, we thought there's no better place to be than in front of the fire in the dining room, restoring a very, very old bear. And I have a handy assistant with me today, my nurse.
Yep, so this is Susan. She belonged to a lady called Jill, and me and Mum are going to restore her.
We are. So this is Charlie's first restoration and he's going to watch along, and I'm going to try and pass on the trade to the next generation. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's been one of those sort of days. I have got my beautiful bare room where I'd normally be working from, but it's extremely cold in there and it's got a big old open fireplace, and to get the fire going it needs to be going for sort of 2 or 3 days to get nice and warm. So we've decided to do it here in front of the nice fire and spend a bit of Mummy and Charlie time together and share it with you. So let's get on. Okay, so we've just spoken to Jill and explained Susan's surgery, and dear old Susan, bless her, she has been through the wars. She is she's a little bit flimsy, as you can see, without a little bit of help. So what we're going to have to do, all of her joints have perished completely. I can actually feel they're not even there anymore. So she's sort of held together probably by just her cotter pins. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to take Susan apart, which means it's a little bit graphic, but it will be taking all of her limbs off and taking her head off. What is important is trying to keep the character of the bear. And what I'm worried about, especially with Susan, is that her face has a particular sort of face. She's got a slightly down ear. This is slightly up. Her eyes are a little wonky, and that gives her character. And that is what her lovely mummy here remembers. So I don't want to damage that in any way. So what I'm going to do is, having looked at her head feels it's good, it's nice and strong. She's got some lovely blue stitching on the back here, which was done by Jill's mum, and I don't want to lose that because that's part of her character. But unfortunately with her body, she's got the same blue stitching, but it is starting to perish, so we do need to do something about that. So what it will mean is her head will stay the same and she's just going to sit by and watch what we do. And her body is going to be completely taken apart, and then I'm going to re-stitch it, and I'm going to make it a little bit strong, reinforce it from the inside, because her fabric is very, very perishable. And at the moment, what you can't do, and especially with old bears, I'm telling you, Charlie, because you're learning, if you were to put a needle into this and pull tight, you'll just rip it. So you've got to be really, really, very, very careful, because this fabric is so old that it just perishes. So you can't, and the minute you pull it tight, it just breaks. So you can't do that. So we're going to take all of this original stitching out, which I don't like doing because it's part of history, but we are going to keep her head the same, and we're going to re-stitch her and reinforce her. So I think it's time to get on.
Yep.
Are you nervous?
I'm pretty confident.
So Charlie's going to help me take apart very, very gently, and I'm going to show him what to do. So hope you enjoy the video. We'll keep popping in for a little chat every now and again to tell you what we're doing, but most of it will be pictures and nice music. And yeah, hope you enjoy a Sunday afternoon watching us restore this beautiful old bear. Okay, so Susan has had her chest removed, and it was, what did you call it?
A treasure chest.
It absolutely was, because all of her history and all of her story is all there to be told just when you open her up. And inside, Charlie found some extremely exciting little revelations, didn't you?
Yes, we found obviously stuffing, so wood wool, lots and lots of wool, and lots of bits of old material, just because back then factories would just use what they could find, and it would just, so we've got material and, yeah, but lots and lots and lots of kapok, and the kapok, she's obviously been washed, so it's just clumped together.
Yeah, so Jill was saying, wasn't she, that she believes that dear old Susan here may have had a bit of a wash every now and again, and Charlie described it really well. How did you describe the wood?
It's a bit like
the kapok, sorry.
When you leave a tissue in your pocket and you put it in the washing machine, it just clumps up into a ball, and that's exactly what this has done.
Yeah, so Susan here has got she was very hard, to almost to the point you thought maybe she was completely full of wood wool. But what it is this has been wet, so it's created like this hard, really hard inside for her. And as Charlie said, she's got wood wool, she's got kapok, but she's also got bits of material in there. And once upon a time, I've had many, many bears that have come through. Back then, they literally filled bears with whatever they could, and their story's always there. So sometimes you find bits of other bear stuffed in them. I had a very, very old stocking, an incredible stocking that had been darned and darned and darned at the foot. So you could see that someone has worn and worn and worn this stocking, and then at that point was like, what can I do with it? I know, I'll stuff a bear with it. So their history really is all hidden and within the bear. So not only do you have this beautiful bear, you also have lots of stories to tell inside. But the next part that we have to do now is to de-joint her. So we need to take her joints out. And her joints are actually made of what looks like leather. It's a very, very soft material here. And once upon a time, obviously, that would have been great, but where she's been moved about and cuddled and loved and all of the different things that have gone on in her lifetime, which we know is at least 71 years, she's started to fray at the edges and it started to get a little bit brittle. So I'm going to teach Charlie now how to open this here, which is called a butterfly knot, or some people call it a butterfly pin, or whether I call it a knot just because I like the word. And we're just going to take these off, and we're going to slowly take her limbs off, so then we can take them apart and we can see exactly what we're dealing with. And meanwhile, her beautiful head here is going to sit over there and watch what goes on. And Charlie's quite mortified by this.
But I don't think she should watch. I honestly do not think she should watch. I think she will sign a paper to say if she would like to watch.
I think she'll be quite happy with watching, because her body's going to be beautiful after, and wouldn't we all just love to have a beautiful body as we get older? So we're going to take the cotter pin out and and give her a bit of a body lift. So let's go.
Yay!
So we are at the crucial part of Susan's restoration. She is a part, but now it is a matter of restoring. So the restoring part comes from, we have her 2 parts of her body here, which we're going to put back together again. And they are like a rugby ball shape. And she has 2 holes on each side, one for her arms and one for her legs. Her legs are here. This is what they look like when they're not stitched together. So we're going to be stitching those back together and putting a cotter pin joint in, which Nick will create for her because she is very, very brittle. So they'll be slightly smaller and they'll also be reinforced. So, but the important part of this is to create something. Her paw pad needs to be quite strong to be able to give her the strength back in her leg. And we're going to use here, this is a stiff fabric. So this is, if you look at it from this side, you can see this is the original curly haired fabric for a teddy bear, which you see on lots and lots of bears. But on the other side, many bears, including stiff bears, you'll see their fabric is this on the outside, but their paw pads is actually, this is just reversed. So what you have here is the reverse of it. So this bit we're going to use to create her new paw pads and her new foot pads, which will hopefully give her the strength to continue for many years to come. But what was really, really special and really, really did raise a smile is these incredible handmade joints. And these joints here, they're made of leather. And each one has a little golden star on it. And I can't tell you how incredibly special these are. You can really see that they've been hand cut. And you can also see why she became so flimsy, because they are very, very, very bendy. So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate these. Nick's going to use these as a template to be able to create softer joints, but wooden joints to make them a little bit stronger for her, and I will reinforce those. But we're going to put these all back in her tummy, along with the lovely stitching that was originally there. That blue cotton is going to go back in her tummy, so none of her history is lost. But what it will do is create a little bit of a memory that can be just kept forever, because they're so incredibly special. And we're going to also put a couple of them round her neck with a lovely bell, so that when she goes home to her mum Jill, she can see just what held her bear together for so many years. So it's been a really, really lovely restoration. Part 2 will come tomorrow, and also at the end of that we're hoping we'll be able to do a little bit with Jack Sparrow's tavern, but with the rain as it's been today and the wind, it was impossible. So stay magical, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye bye.